One of the things that, which really touched my heart when I saw this, because I think when things happen in culture and everyone talks about it, but sometimes you're like, okay, well, I can tell that there's a real connection here. Like when you lost Virgil, right? Like that, when I saw your message and what you spoke about it, I was like, wow, this is someone who had a really deep connection with this individual. And going through grief is really, really tough. Like, people who lose, and I lost two really close people to me during the pandemic.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. One was my spiritual teacher since I was 12 years old, and he died of stage 4 brain cancer, and I hadn't seen him during the pandemic. I couldn't go back for because that was still when it was like tight lockdown. So I couldn't go back for his funeral. And, he'd been the person who'd been such a key piece in my life. Wow. And then the other person pretty much in the same year was my best friend as a monk. So he was still a monk.
Wow.
And he happened to get cancer and he passed away during the pandemic. I couldn't see him either. And he was my age. And so to lose someone that was, and he was still there. And so, And so when I saw your wonderful tribute to Virgil as well, I was like, how do you process something like that when, it's not only industry friends, but genuine friendship beyond that? And just
well, my first thought here is, why is it always the best people? Like, why is it always these people that are just such balls of light in everyone's life? It's like, so you just think about it and you're like, this is so unfair, and you're going through every emotion. And to be honest, it was really shocking because not everyone knew what he was going through and suffering from. So it was really shocking. I'll never forget the day I found out, and it just absolutely, obviously breaks your heart. And you can't help but be like, oh my God, did I ever say enough? Did I ever tell him enough? It's really interesting to share that feeling with so many people.
Yeah.
It feels good in a way. And you're just like, it makes you feel so human. And you're sharing this emotion with people that knew him, people that didn't know him, people that just loved him from afar. And it's just a really beautiful and incredible thing to a certain degree, but then also just obviously the most devastating thing. It hits so hard when so many people are talking about it and so many people are affected by it. So it was definitely a really shocking, really sad time.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and it's really interesting what you said there. Is like, why, and I had that with my spiritual teacher for sure. I was just like he was, and what's really powerful about what I could at least remember from him at that time was that even though he had stage 4 brain cancer, which means he'd lost his short-term memory and a lot of his long-term memory was impaired, if you ever met him, he would just thank you for your service to God. Like he would just say, thank you for everything you're doing for other people. And he would just be grateful. And I was just like,
that's exactly how V was too. He was the most positive, lived life, like appreciative, wanted to say yes to everything, wanted to just be there for everyone. You could literally ask him to design a pencil for you and he would be like, it'll be done tomorrow. What else do you need? Like he just had so much to give and he gave it. And that was pre his diagnosis. That was that was just who Virgil was. And so to then find out what he found out at a certain point in his life and still be that person and still like, I'm going to show up for everyone. Yeah. And like my time here is so special to all these other people and I'm going to like be here to make them feel amazing. It's just like unreal. Like it makes you just be like, what?
Yeah.
Like how could you be that incredible and giving? Like that is so crazy. Yeah. There wasn't a selfish bone in that man's body. Like he was just the best. So.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry to hear about your
losses. I think it's actually nice speaking about people that we both love in a similar way, even though they're in such different places in life doing very different things. Yeah. But to talk about someone's, and I think that's a big part of it for me, at least with grief, that I feel like when I talk about the beautiful qualities of the people that I lost, it gives me so much confidence that they want me to live it and they want me to try and embody it, and that how fortunate we are to have experienced that type of humanity.
Yeah.
Like,
and those are my thoughts of him. Yeah. Like I think all we ever really want as human beings is to be, you know, when we do leave this earth, we want to be remembered so beautifully and positively. I know, at least I do, of course, but like you of course want to make people feel something. And he made so many people feel something. And for that, it is so special. Like they say that we have our purpose here. And I know that he fulfilled a purpose here that he was supposed to fulfill. And I think I think about it beautifully. Like obviously it's a very, very sad situation and it breaks my heart, but I have nothing but beautiful thoughts of him. And I think that's really cool and really special. So
yeah, thank you for sharing that too.
Yeah.
And I had to ask you because I love hearing amazing things about amazing people that, you know, because I think so many of the most incredible people, I grew up reading about people that I never met. And I spent a lot of my life studying books about people that I never met. So Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and Einstein and people that I really see as people that have directed so much of my life from how they lived. And I feel like he was potentially one of those people that I never met him, but whenever I hear about him, I'm just like,
for sure.
Oh, this is someone that we could learn from.
You
spoke about purpose there. I was wondering, how has your purpose changed? You had this very confident view of I want to be a model. You know, you've superseded, exceeded, and continue to flourish in that world. And I always wish that you do. How has your purpose evolved as that time's gone on?
I think I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about myself, about what I want from my life, and which is kind of what we've been talking about. But I'm actually really excited to get older and to learn so much more about not only myself, but like the journey and the path that I guess want to take and want to be on. So I'd say, you know, my purpose has evolved from obviously within business, doing what I want to do and making sure I'm happy and finding the thing that I love and all those things. But I've kind of, like I said, really tuned into me. And I think my purpose, at least at this very moment, and what I've kind of evolved into is my higher goddess. Like I am determined to tune into her at all times. But also, as I get older, I have so much that I want to connect with other people and with, you know, AKA social media and people that may not know me personally, and just, you know, the following. Like I said, I was given this life for some reason. For whatever reason, I was placed here, and I do feel a purpose to share and connect and put a smile on people's faces or make someone feel a positive feeling. And so I think that within me wanting to achieve, me tuning into my higher goddess, I think that also entails me being a great version of myself for other people to then experience, and my tips and my tools and whatever I can share, whatever help I can give. I really, you know, as corny as it sounds, I want to spread love. Like I want people to feel love. That's really, I guess, the purpose.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, what more could you ask for? Yeah.